I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's get into NXT from February the 24th, 2026. This was a really decent show for the most part. We finally, after months and months of waiting, we finally got the long, slow, awaited heel turn of Zaria. She finally snapped and turned on Sol Ruca. Great. Loved it. Great. And it got a good reaction. We crowned basically 3 new champions. We have new tag team champions. We have a new Speed champion. And we have a new North American champion. So we'll talk about that. So NXT is still doing pretty good. It's still doing good. It's still the best wrestling show of the week. So, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So, we kicked the show off with the first match of the night, which was the Vanity Project versus Dark State for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Vanity Project defeat Dark State with the help of Tony D'Angelo. I really wasn't interested in this match, if we're being honest. I watched bits and pieces of it. I saw the finish. So, basically, there was chaos that happened. And Tony D'Angelo showed up. And he ended up choke slamming one of the Dark State guys, threw him back into the ring. He threw Baylor back in the ring as well, and he put Baylor on top of one of the Dark State guys and got the win. I think it was Sugars. It was Sugars who took the pin. So that's fine. Good stuff here. Liked it. I'm glad that Dark State are no longer champions. Dark State, to me, is a failed faction. They've been around for basically a year. It started last year. There was some hype early on, but it quickly died down after a couple months. And, yeah. So, it is what it is. You know, it's fine. Moving on. So, Miles Bourne, he has a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber. Miles said that he made Ethan Page give him that title opportunity because but he also smacked his leg with a steel chair because he didn't think he had it in him. Just like he wasn't supposed to make it to WWE. Miles got his chance during the pandemic, which I did not know. I thought that Miles Bourne may have came in, I want to say maybe in 2022 or maybe in the middle of 2023. But wow, that's insane that he's been in there that long. Well, the pandemic was basically 4 years ago, basically. So yeah, that's fine, I guess. Ethan Page is the greatest North American champion of all time. It's an impossible task. That's what Sarah Schreiber said. Miles did the impossible by making the D1 football team without a single year of experience. Nice. Ethan has been needling him, poking him, putting him down a bad path. That's always directing him away from Ethan Page. Miles says that he's the only person that can beat Ethan Page tonight. Miles Bourne is not in over his head. He's right where he belongs. Miles Bourne says that you can't let someone tell you what you can do in this life. Tonight, he'll no longer be considered the deaf kid. He'll be known as the new NXT North American champion. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on. Keanu Carver defeats Sean Legacy. Match was short. He ended up doing a modified power slam for the win. I liked it. He did it in an awesome pounce. That thing was nice. That shit was awesome. That gave me Monty Brown vibes from TNA. Man, I'm like, damn, dude. Keanu Carver is something special. He's something special. The big homie is something special, man. Wow. Dude is tremendous. Great athlete, bro. Great athlete. That's fine. Makes perfect sense. Match was short and sweet, so yeah. Sean Legacy, I don't know what you do with him. Same with Keanu Carver. Maybe you have him go after the Speed Championship. I don't know. Maybe have him go after Miles Bourne. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I'm thinking Miles is gonna have a short run as champion. Maybe, I don't know, but whatever. Moving on. So we see the Ring QCC talking in the women's locker room. They're revealing they're reveling in the ongoing drama with Zaria and Sol Ruca. Kim LeGray says that eventually she's going to find herself back in the women's NXT title picture. Kim LeGray wants to support Ren Sinclair with the upcoming Speed tournament for the women. Ren Sinclair will be having a tournament match next week against Nikita Lyons. Ren Sinclair says she needs to stay focused and that there's only so much preparing she can do since there's only 3-minute time limits. So Kalani Jordan shows up. She tells the Ren QCC to take notes because she made history by making Lola Vice tap out. Kalani beat Lola at her own game, and all she could do is cry about it. So Kalani calls herself the standout while everyone else are standbys. So Lola Vice comes in and she kicks Kalani Jordan. They're about to brawl, and they're separated. So I like that. Good stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into the triple threat for the NXT Speed. The WWE Speed Championship. I'm sorry. Elio LeFleur defeats Jasper Troy and Eli Knight. Match was pretty good. It only lasted about 6.5 minutes, which was it only lasted about 5.5. About 5.5. 5 minutes and 45 seconds. So he ends up hitting a moonsault, that being Eli Knight, and then LeFleur basically just kind of rolled up. No, he didn't roll up Jasper Troy. I forgot what he did. He just hooked the leg of Jasper Troy, and that was it, I guess. So this is fine. It makes sense. I honestly thought they were going to keep the gold on Jasper for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. But having him lose here is the right decision. Clearly, Jasper Troy is not ready yet. He can have a presence on NXT. He just needs to be the heavy of somebody. I don't know who he could kind of, be the bodyguard of. I don't know who that could be. But that's the best thing that he can do right now. That's the best position that he needs to kind of be in, basically, until he gets the fundamentals down pat. So it's fine. Elio LeFleur winning is the right decision. Makes sense. Although I thought that they were going to have Jasper Troy win and then have maybe make LeFleur and Eli Knight a tag team, which they still very well could do because the tag team division in NXT is utter ass. So they could end up still doing that some point in the future, maybe. Moving on. So Ricky Saints is talking to Ethan Page in the trainer's room. Ricky was bragging about his appearance on the CW show Wild Cards. Ethan Page is not concerned about his injured ankle, left ankle. So the Vanity Project, they show up. The Vanity Project took all the advice from Ethan Page gave them, and it's coming through fruition. Ricky Saints says that he's going to become a 2-time NXT champion at Vengeance Day. Tonight, the focus is on Ethan Page remaining the longest reigning NXT North American champion of all time. Okay. That's cool there. Moving on, we get an NXT Chronicle starring Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry talks about his success and everything else, and him growing up in Scotland, how he graduated from university, got a master's in business and marketing. He trained in judo. He was a musician. He said at the age of 24, he made the decision to pursue his dreams in pro wrestling. So he talked about how he went on the Indies, and he was trained by Robbie Brookside, the father of Zaria Brookside in TNA. So he basically talked about how he tapped into his musical background. He basically was wrestling, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Kurt Angle. He was writing his own theme song before we all knew it. He was streaming, podcasting. So great stuff here. And then he ended up, dyeing his hair blonde. He bulked up to 265 pounds. So when the world opened back up from COVID, he used a bunch of his savings to buy his own visa and to go back to the States to sign with TNA. And that was the origins of part 1. So I like that. Really good stuff there. Moving on, Dark State, they're pissed off. They're throwing a massive fit backstage. Who cares? Moving on, Lola Vice is pissed off. She storms into Robert Stone's office. Lola has unfinished business with Kalani Jordan. Lola tells Stone to put her and Kalani Jordan in an NXT Underground match. And then Robert Stone makes it official for Vengeance Day. It's going to be Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice, NXT Underground. Nice. Good shit there. Great. Moving on, this leads us into Sol Ruca versus Jacy Jayne. So, as soon as the introductions got underway, Zaria basically speared Sol Ruca. She ended up hitting the F5. She threw Sol Ruca back into the ring. Jacy Jayne connected it with the rolling encore for the 1-2-3. Then Zaria F5 Sol Ruca and kissed her on the forehead and called her a bitch. So I do like that. So that's great. She got a really good reaction for doing this. And again, I'm happy for this a little bit. I am. It took a while to do it, but we're finally here. This makes perfect sense. And I'm down for it. So yes. Moving on. So Tatum Paxley, she was in the crowd talking about how she craves acceptance, trying to be exactly what everybody else wants her to be. She basically just wants to thank everybody for being there for her. She says at Vengeance Day, when she gets her hands on the NXT Women's North American Championship, she's going to hold it real close and never let it go, because the title won't be hers, it'll be ours. So then Izzy Dame shows up. She says, then you'll wake up and you'll realize, Tatum, that you're not even your dreams are enough, because you at your core will never be enough. Damn, that was crazy right there. So they were about to brawl, and officials they were about to brawl, and officials separated them briefly. And then this led us into Mariah May being defeated by Thea Hill. Jada Parker showed up. She ended up hitting the Hypnotic. And Thea Hill did a nasty running blockbuster for the 1-2-3. Love that. Good stuff. Like it. Great stuff. And Jada Parker looks good. Is she still injured, though? Like, she was on this show, and it seems like she's moving fine, so I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping this neck injury is not too serious. I'm hoping it's not. Again, neck injuries are nothing to play with at all, so we wish her the best still. But I do like this. Moving on, let's get us into the second edition, part 2 of Joe Hendry's NXT Chronicles. Talked about his time in TNA and everything. Talked about how he went to YouTube University and about how to get his song on the charts and everything else. Talked about his first time in NXT. Talked about how he won the TNA World title. How he appeared at the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania. He says all this was to get him to NXT. Becoming the NXT champion was a culmination of all the hard work he's put in. Most guys like Ricky Saints think that he's just a song and a smile. I know who I am. I'm your NXT champion. I believe in Joe Hendry. Okay, I like that. Good shit there. Moving on. Kel Dixon defeats... No, my bad. Uriah Connors defeats Kel Dixon. Okay. That's fine there. So, Connors wins via the Flying Blue Psycho knee. Nice. Good stuff there. Are we going to bring in David Finlay? They probably will. Again, I doubt if Charlie Dempsey is going to be the leader of this faction. He will join this faction, but I do think that we will see David Finlay show up at probably Vengeance Day and be revealed to be the leader. I think if WWE was going to go through all this trouble, they're probably going to end up bringing him in. I mean, this thing is tailor-made for David Finlay, right? I know people don't like David Finlay. He's okay, but I'd rather see him in this versus him going to AEW and really just kind of doing nothing but a bunch of, New Japan shit, right? Because that's all he would do in AEW, really, I mean, we get it. We know that Gabe Kidd is there, but who cares about all that, right? So, whatever. Moving on. This leads us into Fatal Influence. They're celebrating backstage. They're running into Zaria. Zaria tells Jacy Jayne that she owes her one for helping her beat Sol Ruca. So Lena Reed, she says that Jacy Jayne doesn't owe Zaria a damn thing. The bell rang and Jacy pins Sol Ruca in the story. Jacy Jayne's over the Zaria and Sol Ruca drama. Zaria reminds Jacy that she's never beaten her. And Zaria wants her NXT Women's Championship match next week. Or Jacy Jayne's going to suffer the same fate as Sol Ruca. I like that. Good stuff there. Cool. And we all know that Sol Ruca's going to show up next week to cost Zaria. So, yeah. That's fine. Moving on. Ricky Saints and the Vanity Project, they poke fun at Joe Hendry's NXT Chronicle. Ricky says that he's bringing his absolute experience to NXT next week, and the Vanity Project are invited. And then Jackson Drake tells Swipe Right to help Ethan Page retain his title. So then Hank and Tank and Charlotte Hill, they show up and then they get into a brawl. I don't care about this shit. Moving on. So this leads us into a pretty good video package for Ethan Page and Miles Bourne, their rivalry. Moving on from that, then we get Robert Stone. He's interviewed by Sarah Schreiber, makes matches for next week. Zaria and Jacy Jayne, and then Hank and Tank and the Vanity Project and Shiloh Hill. Okay, yay. Main event of the evening, Miles Bourne defeats Ethan Page. So basically, the match was okay. Miles Bourne wins via the Born Again. There was a bunch of chaos towards the end of the match. So the Vanity Project, they got involved. Then Hank and Tank and Shiloh Hill, they came out to fight them off. Then Ricky Saints tried to get involved to help Ethan Page. Joe Hendry showed up and threw him off the turnbuckle. And then Miles Bourne ended up hitting the Born Again, and that was all she wrote. And he celebrates, and that was it. So this is fine. This makes sense. Ethan Page losing. It's fine, I guess. It seems like maybe Ethan Page is going to get his main roster call-up eventually. It'll probably be after Mania. They'll probably end up doing a rematch at Vengeance Day. So I don't think Miles Bourne is going to be champion long. I think he's going to be a transitional champion more than likely. Either the belt's going to go back on Ethan Page, or it's going to probably go to somebody like a Keanu Carver. But Miles Bourne's not going to be champion long. I don't see him being champion long. I just don't, right? I really don't. But all in all, NXT for the most part was pretty okay. I like what they're doing with most of the stuff that they're doing. I wish that they just wouldn't push Shiloh Hill, right? He's ass. But other than that, I like what they're doing. What did you guys think of NXT? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.